The first thing I remember was the smell. Not the sharp scent of antiseptic that most hospitals had, but something softer, like rain on metal mixed with a faint sweetness I couldn't place. It filled my lungs as consciousness slowly clawed its way back. I blinked. The ceiling above me curved gently, glowing with pale blue light. Strange symbols moved across it like slow currents in water. For a moment, I wondered if I was dreaming. Then the pain hit. It came from my chest first, sharp and burning, then spread through the rest of my body, like fire crawling through my veins. I groaned. A soft chime sounded somewhere to my right. "Patient awakening," a voice said. It wasn't human. I turned my head and immediately wished I hadn't. The movement sent a wave of dizziness crashing through me. Standing beside the bed was a woman, or at least something shaped like one. She was tall and slender, with pale silver skin that seemed to shimmer under the lights. Her eyes were large and luminous, glowing faintly violet. Instead of hair, thin tendrils like strands of glass flowed down her back. An alien. That realization should have sent me into a panic. Instead, I was too exhausted to care. "Where?" I rasped. The alien stepped closer, her movements calm and precise. "You are in the medical wing of the vessel Astria," she said. Her voice carried a musical tone, each word carefully pronounced. "A spaceship." Great. The last thing I remembered was the explosion. My transport ship had been passing through the outer trade routes when pirates ambushed us. There had been alarms, smoke, and the screaming sound of tearing metal. Then darkness. "You were retrieved from a drifting escape pod," the alien nurse continued. "Your injuries were extensive." I glanced down. My chest was wrapped in a mesh of glowing bands. Transparent tubes ran into my arms, feeding something cool into my bloodstream. "How bad?" I asked. "You experienced cardiac trauma, multiple fractures, internal bleeding, and oxygen deprivation." I managed a weak laugh. "So, not great." The alien tilted her head slightly. "That would be an accurate summary." For a moment, neither of us spoke. I watched her move around the room, adjusting instruments that hummed quietly. Her hands were delicate but confident, like someone who had done this thousands of times. "What's your name?" I asked. "Designation: Nurse Tvara." "Human name?" She paused. "I do not possess one." "Well, Tvara then." She inclined her head slightly, acknowledging the familiarity. I looked around the room again. The walls were curved metal, glowing softly. Holographic displays floated in the air near the bed, filled with symbols I didn't understand. "You said I was injured," I said slowly. "But I feel better than I should." "That is correct." And Tvara hesitated. "Your species possesses unusual biological resilience." That sounds like a polite way of saying humans are stubborn. Her eyes brightened faintly. "That is also accurate." I was about to ask another question when the door slid open. 2 more aliens stepped inside. These ones looked far less friendly. They were tall, armored, and carried weapons that pulsed with energy. Their skin was darker than Tvara's, with ridges along their temples. Security. One of them looked at me like I was a specimen under a microscope. "The human is awake." "Yes," Tvara replied calmly. The guard stepped closer to the bed. "Medical scan results." "Stabilized," she said. The guard nodded once. "Good. Command will want him conscious." That didn't sound comforting. "What for?" I asked. The guard ignored me. "Prepare him for transfer," he told Tvara. The alien nurse's expression shifted slightly. "He is not ready to move." "He will be." Their eyes met. Something silent passed between them. Finally, the guard turned toward the door. "You have 10 minutes." Then they left. The room felt colder after they were gone. What's going on? I asked. Tvara didn't answer immediately. Instead, she looked at the holographic display beside my bed. Her fingers moved quickly through symbols. Then she glanced at me again. There's a problem, she said. Yeah, I figured. She hesitated again. The official report states that your treatment protocol includes only standard regenerative therapy. And her eyes narrowed slightly. Your survival probability under that protocol is 12%. That got my attention. 12. Yes. Well, that's not ideal. She reached toward a small tray beside the bed. On it sat a device that looked like a sleek metal injector. My stomach tightened. What's that? She picked it up. A genetic stabilizer. That sounds expensive. It is also restricted. I frowned. Restricted how? Her voice lowered. It is not approved for use on non-allied species. Which I assume includes humans. Yes. So, why are you holding it? Tvara looked directly into my eyes. Because your chart does not include it. And she raised the injector slightly. But you need it. My pulse quickened. Let me guess, I said slowly. If you give me that shot, you're breaking the rules. Yes. And if you don't, you will likely die within 48 hours. I stared at her. That was one hell of a choice. What happens to you if they find out? I asked. Disciplinary measures. That sounds vague. Termination of medical status. In other words, fired? She paused. Or worse. I looked at the injector again, then back at her. You barely know me, I said. Yes. So, why risk it? For the first time, Tvara seemed uncertain. During your unconscious state, you spoke. What? You spoke in fragmented sentences. Memories. Great. Fantastic. I was talking in my sleep to aliens. What did I say? She met my gaze. You described rescuing survivors from a damaged colony ship. My chest tightened. I remembered that. 3 years ago, a civilian transport had lost power near an asteroid belt. My crew had spent 2 days pulling people out before the hull collapsed. Most of them weren't human. You saved them, Tvara said quietly. Yeah. You did not ask their species. That's not exactly something you ask someone who's suffocating. She studied my face. In my culture, actions like that define a being's worth. I didn't know what to say to that. So you're repaying a favor? I asked. Perhaps. She raised the injector. This will alter your cellular regeneration. Meaning, you will survive. And the side effects? Her silence said everything. Unknown. I sighed. Of course they were. All right, I said. Tvara blinked. You consent. I mean, the alternative is dying in an alien hospital bed. So yeah. She stepped closer. Remained still. The injector hummed softly as she pressed it against my arm. For a moment, nothing happened. Then she activated it. The pain was immediate. It felt like liquid lightning spreading through my veins. I clenched my teeth as heat surged through my body. What the hell? I gasped. Your cells are adapting, she said calmly. Feels like they're exploding. My vision blurred. Every nerve in my body screamed as something deep inside me shifted. Bones cracked softly as they realigned. Muscles tightened. My heartbeat thundered in my ears. Then silence. The pain vanished. I sucked in a breath and realized something strange. I felt stronger. Not just healed. Different. Tvara scanned the display. Her eyes widened slightly. Remarkable. What? Your cellular regeneration has accelerated far beyond predicted limits. Good news? Very. Before I could respond, the door slid open again. The guards were back. Time's up, one of them said. He stepped closer. then stopped. His eyes narrowed at the medical display. What was administered? My heart skipped. Tvara didn't hesitate. Standard regenerative compounds. The guard looked at the injector tray. Empty. Your records say he should still be critical. Tvara gestured toward the screen. Human physiology is unpredictable. The guard studied me. I realized something else then. The weakness was gone. Completely. I swung my legs over the side of the bed. Both guards immediately raised their weapons. Stay where you are. Too late. I stood. My balance was perfect. My muscles responded instantly, stronger than they had ever felt before. The guards exchanged uneasy looks. That shouldn't be possible, one muttered. Tvara simply watched. Seems like the nurse knows what she's doing, I said. The guard frowned. You will come with us. Where? Command wishes to question you. I glanced at Tvara. Her eyes met mine, and for just a moment, she gave the slightest nod. I didn't know why, but I trusted it. All right, I said. The guards escorted me out of the medical wing. The corridors of the alien ship stretched endlessly in every direction, glowing with the same blue light. But something inside me had changed. I could feel it. My senses were sharper, my reflexes faster. The injection hadn't just saved my life. It had transformed it. Behind me, the medical door slid shut. Inside the room, Tvara quietly erased the last traces of the unauthorized treatment from the system logs. Because if Command discovered what she had done, the consequences wouldn't just fall on her. They would come for the human she had just turned into something entirely new. And somewhere deep within the ship's command deck, someone had already noticed the anomaly in the medical data. The human survivor was no longer dying. Instead, he was evolving. And that single illegal injection was about to change the fate of far more than one patient. It was about to change the balance of power across the stars. All because one alien nurse looked at a dying human and decided he was worth saving.